Morning guys, today we've got a plant haul. It's been ages since I've bought plants. I've not felt like I was caring properly for the ones that I had, so it seemed silly to bring more into the fold. But then the other day I was sat and repotted loads. The ones that are really struggling have gone into my grow light. They're doing really well. One of the things that really surprised me about getting a grow light is that it kind of forces you to take better care of your plants because they dry out so much quicker under a grow light. It's warmer under there, so the water like evaporates, and also they're growing more, so they use more water. So I ended up almost like I was like mothering them, like, oh god, they've run out of water, which I know you should do all the time, but when they're just like chilling on the windowsill, you're like, oh, they're fine, like they've got everything they need. But I think because I'd put the light on them, I felt like I was responsible for them, whereas I don't know, I just felt more responsible for them because I put them in that situation as I put, like, I put all the others in their situation too, but yeah. But yeah, I've got everyone repotted, and I have been, but I also, like, it follows on, like, I feel like I've said like a lot because I take the time to like water and fertilise the ones under the grow light. The others are all just right there, so why not? So that's what they've also all started growing, which is nice. Obviously just the time of year, and looking after them really doesn't hurt, that really helps them, but time of year, everything's sort of coming to life a bit. I'm just feeling a bit more inspired, so I bought some more plants. The first one I got is a repurchase. I didn't kill the first one because they are almost impossible to kill unless you overwater them. But it just got to a place where it was forever teetering on the brink, and it would have taken a lot to have really brought it back. I think it was just the roots. The roots will keep going and going and going, but it was tired, and I was like, no, now is the time. So I bought another one, which has just had to listen to that little story, so it's probably got the fear of God in it now. It's a very common. That's so rude. I'm so sorry. It's beautiful though. I've just noticed the aerial roots on it. This has obviously been kept in a very high humidity area, because if you see the aerial root there, they only go like that when they're in high humidity. Typically they just dry up. That's one of the differences between philodendron and pothos, like heartleaf philodendron and pothos. The aerial roots on a pothos you tend to get one, and it tends to be a bit stubby, but it'll stay alive for a bit until it realises it's of no use. With the philodendron, they tend to dry up straight away. They never really get going because it's not high enough. I'm guessing because it's not high enough humidity for it to adhere to something. They don't see the point in growing. I have a load of plants in my terrarium, and their aerial roots are terrifying, so it's probably best that they don't do that. But I'm really pleased with this. It's obviously like a load of cuttings in one. It's very full, and there's loads of growth points on it. And I'm going to do my very best to keep it going. I might chop this one. This one's getting a little bit on the leggy side, so I might chop this one. And there's another growth point, actually. Oh my god. You can see I'm going to end up snapping it. There's another leaf growing here. Oh, you can just see it there. So I could probably just chop it off there, prop this one, pop it in lacquer, see how it's going. And then, oh, it looks like maybe the growing tip here has been damaged. So maybe that got damaged for whatever reason, and it decided to just start growing there. So I might be best off just chopping that anyway. But there seems to be I don't know where it's come from. I mean, I bought it from a garden centre, but it's really full of life. It's obviously come from somewhere where they know what they're doing. They don't always come like this. So, I mean, this is just healthy. It's not like a fancy, you can get like white ones, there are paler leaves, but it's just a regular, did I even say what it was? It's a Philodendron Brazil. And I'm very excited to have it. I actually went to the plant shop for he just hangs in my window, lemon lime maranta, I don't have any Marantas at the moment. Mine died. They got thrips and spider mites and it was just a whole big thing. So I was like, no, cut your losses. But lemon lime Marantas used to go for like, oh, that one was $16.99 for that. Bargain. So lemon lime Marantas used to be like, I think about £75. I think something like that. At one point they were like 100. And then recently something's happened and they're like under a tenner. That's what I went to get, but clearly everyone had the same idea as me and there weren't any left. But the plants I got I was really happy with. The second plant I've got is a Rhapidophora decursiva, which is like a dragon plant. Now, I told myself ages ago I wasn't going to get any more plants that are just regular green foliage because I have a lot like this kind of leaf shape. Because I have a lot. But there's just something about this one. It's not even... It has at some point produced a split leaf. You see that? But the most recent one hasn't, and it actually looks like it's been attacked by something. Got a new leaf growing there. I don't know, I like the growth pattern. I love, it looks like it's two cuttings because it's growing in, is it two cuttings? No, because it's growing in two different directions. So there's also a new leaf there. But if you look, it's all just come from like, you can see the end of where it's been cut there, one great big cutting. And I really like plants that look like they've got some age to them. I've got a silver sword that has the biggest, fattest like trunk. I mean, it's a stem, but it's a trunk. It's a trunk at this point. And I just really like that. I don't know. I feel like it's got some history to it. It does make it more stressful because I'm like, please, I cannot kill you. But also when they're that age, I'm like, you've probably been through worse than me. So yeah, I just think it's really cool. I'm assuming it's similar care to a Rhapidophora tetrasperma. We've got an aerial root there, so it seems to be following that same pattern of they tend to do like a leaf and one aerial root, sometimes two. And I really like that kind of neat pattern. They do, you can see like, it's a neat pattern. I like that. But it won't be by the time I finish with it, but. My third plant that I bought has been on my wish list for ages, but it was one of those plants that I never really thought I'd get because I liked it, I really liked it, but not enough to spend the money on them and they're really expensive. Oh, the decursiva was also $16.99. One day I'll start writing scripts for these. But I got a baby tiny Philodendra melanochrysum, and the reason that I didn't want to spend the money on it is because basically this is a glorified Philodendra micans, just with a lot bigger leaves. But that, you know, it's a, if you said to somebody, like, it's quite small, what is this? A lot of people would say it's a Philodendra micans because they do have a different leaf shape, but the whole like velvety dark greenness, that's what it looks like, especially like the baby leaves. But yeah, they were always just too expensive for me. I just wasn't that bothered. I wasn't that bothered. I'd rather just have a micans for the price. But this was $14.99. So I was like, do you know what? Get it. Have I said that it's a melanochrysum? I'm not very good at this. But yeah, it's a cute little thing. It seems to have some sort of net. I've only just noticed that. It's got like a net thing going around it. So I'm going to have to get in there at some point. I try not to disturb my plants for a couple of weeks whilst they just get used to my house. It's got a new leaf growing there, so definitely not going to disturb it. I'm hoping this looks like fairly like fine mesh, so I'm hoping the roots will just be able to like grow through it and it'll hopefully disintegrate over time. I've no idea what it's in. I only seem to be able to get hold of like really fine coir, and I think this is just like chunkier coir, hairier. It's also got green perlite in it. Oh, that's probably just algae. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, yes, you. And my last plant is a plant that I never actually was that bothered about because people get them for their flowers, and having a plant that you have for its flowers rather than its foliage always seems like extra stress, because if it's not flowering you're like, what's wrong with you? But my Hoya Bella has bloomed without me doing anything to it. happily, regularly. I mean, the amount of peduncles she's got now is on the end of every single little leaf and like stem. It's called a stem, isn't it? Yeah. And some have forked, so she's got 2. But I was like, yeah, this is a sign, get a plant with flowers. So I went with an orchid. I have had one orchid before and it died, but that wasn't my fault. It had been kept in like regular outside potting soil in a ceramic pot with no drainage and watered every week for a long time. So it had root rot, but it wasn't dead. I managed to keep it alive for a really long time, but it never really thrived. I think it had just got past that point. I'm not saying that somebody else couldn't have brought it back, but it was beyond my capabilities. I did try, I think for about 2 years. But anyway, started again, and I thought, there's so much choice with orchids, and I never have any idea what to get. So I just went for a pretty one. And it smells absolutely incredible. This is it's labelled as nothing, because the label's gone. Orchid Miltonia? I looked it up and I think it's a pansy orchid. I have no idea if that's like a common name. Problem with getting into like new plants is you don't know. It's a little bit like Calathea rosea picta. You're like, oh, I've got Calathea rosea picta, not realising there's like 20 different plants that all have that common name. So I apologise if it's wrong, but it's just so pretty and it's got so many flowers, and I'm really excited to do a bit of research and see if I can perhaps get it to flower again. Like, I don't know what these are. Is this going to be another flower? I'm going to flower again? I really cannot get over the smell. I don't know why I didn't think orchids smelled, because so many room fragrances say they smell of orchid. I thought it was a little bit like amber, and it doesn't smell of anything. But no, it smells, it smells like flowers. It smells a little bit like rose. Is that true? Yeah. It's not overwhelming, but we had it in the car and I was like, what is that smell? I was suspicious of the smell. Because it smelled like perfume. I don't know why I say things and I'm so shocked by it, but that, you know, it smells really nice. That's all we need to know. But yeah, if anybody has any tips or like YouTube people that they follow that will help me, I can keep it alive. I'm confident I can keep it alive. I don't even know what it's in. It seems to be Koya. I might need to get it out of that. I don't know, I'm gonna have to do some research. Because the problem with orchids is, so orchid, I think it's the biggest family of plants. Might be the second biggest. There's a lot of orchids. Vanilla is a kind of orchid. You get them everywhere. I think you even get them in like the Arctic. You get them everywhere. So it's not like one size fits all. So I would be interested in like maybe attaching it to some driftwood or something. I've got bogwood downstairs. I saw a Summer Rain Oaks video where she went to somewhere in Germany, like a botanical gardens, and they attached their orchids to driftwood with tights. And I was like, I've got old tights, I could do that. So yeah, I might do that, or I might just keep it in the pot forever. Anyway, it sits in my bathroom on the edge of my bath, and it's really nice. I'm just pretty chuffed. I really want to like get to know how to look after it before going out and buying 50 million more, but I was just gonna have to see. I know what I'm like. That is my small plant haul. How much was that? About the same. I think they were all $16.99 apart from the Philodendra melanochrysum, which was $14.99. And it was my birthday when I went, so my boyfriend paid for them. I did get a watering can. Is that it? No. Where is it? Right. Could have just got up and gotten it, couldn't I? Oh my god. I'm just gonna go and get it. £8 from TK Maxx. It took me ages to decide, because you know when it's like clothes shopping, you see like loads of different elements on different items that you like, but they've never made them into one piece that you want. This was my favourite. The one that I really wanted, the shape I wanted, was gold, but like a shiny. I like this like brushed look and the colour. My issue I have with it, right, oh, something's rumbling. It's a good thing, it's a design flaw, but it kind of helps. So if you fill this full and then do that, water comes out of the top and goes on the floor. Unless you're very careful and pour very slowly. When we're watering plants, we should be watering slowly, because then if you pour really fast, the water just, you know, gravity takes over and it just goes straight through the soil and doesn't soak in. It just finds the nearest cracks and goes through those rather than sort of absorbing into the soil. If you pour slowly, it has a chance to like absorb into the soil. So we should be pouring slowly. So technically it's a good thing, but I'm impatient and I forget that it will pour all over my floor. So I do have a bit of a wet patch on the carpet there. I'll learn. Yeah, anyway, that's it for this video. Oh, that was £8 from TK Maxx on sale, clearance. Clearly, like, they'd had like loads of them brought back because it's got a fairly major design flaw. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.